welcome to another evening of frank conversation here on Hard Copy, coming to you from our studios in Abuja. Tonight, we take a break from politics to a topic that's more humanitarian in nature. The Home for the Needy Foundation, Ohogwa, in Edo State, was founded in 1992, but didn't gain major media attention until sometime in 2015, when journalists got to know about the existence of this center, which had become a refuge for many internally displaced persons running from the insurgency-hit states of Borno, Adamawa, and Yobe. The center at the time was housing at least 2,000 internally displaced children and teenagers. Today, those children are now grown, a number of them in tertiary institutions, and many of them have successfully completed their secondary school education. Channels Television paid a visit there recently to the institution, and this was a report our correspondent Jessica Olobushere came back with.
Early afternoon, a time of leisure at the Home for the Needy, Ohogwa, Edo State. But many of the occupants keep busy. The camp's organizers are big on education. Over 150 of the over 3,000 occupants of the camp, made up of IDPs from northeastern Nigeria and other needy Nigerians here, are in tertiary institutions. One of them has just graduated.
I studied nursing science, and then I'm a registered nurse now. So I look forward to government helping us. At the present now, I'm working at the health center, assisting the children, treating them.
The coordinator of the camp, Solomon Folorunsho, is excited at the children's progress. Their achievements and daily living requirements, however, present weighty needs.
We have almost 200 that want to enter this year. If not for the ASU strike, they would have all been in school. By now, you see them scoring above 200 in their JAM, some scoring close to 300. And with the ones that were there before, we're having challenges. Paying their school fees, books, hostel accommodation.
The kitchen is another area the enormity of the challenge is clearly seen. The fires are hardly blazing, the pots and basins far from full.
If you look at the time now, it's just to 2. Children are not taking their breakfast. This is their breakfast. As you can see, if you look at the cooking pots and all, you see that only few have fire. We don't have firewood. We don't even have the food to use it to cook. Before now, we are cooking all. But now what we have is what we cook.
As the IDPs in this camp continue in steps towards a brighter future, the appeal remains that they are remembered and given the support capable of turning them into not just survivors, but contributors to national development.
On Hard Copy tonight, I speak with the founder of the center, Mr. Solomon Folorunsho, who joins us from our studios in Benin City on his joys, challenges, and hope for the future. Mr. Folorunsho, welcome to Hard Copy.
Thank you for having me.
What a journey it's been for you. Well, to prepare for this interview, I've had to revisit old reports and even interviews that we did perhaps sometime in 2015 or 2016. And what a journey it has been. Now, when you started out a center like this, I mean, when you founded it in 1992, did you imagine that this was what the journey was going to be like for you?
No, not at all. For us then was just to help children who had no parents. Like sometimes if we go to some villages or in the city, you see some children selling during school hour, or some children who have been rejected because they have been suspected of some witchcrafty, you know what they do in the local places. So we just wanted to help few children. And because of my background and all I went through, so I started out with 4 children. I never thought that one day I would have thousands of children. Yeah, so that was how it all began.
Well, today, I do not know how many children you have living in. We hear as much as 4,000. Is that figure now correct?
It's correct. In fact, at the time, we had up to like 7,000 persons. Most of them were displaced people. And from that 2012, 13, 14, we have relocated and reintegrated about 3,000 plus who later found their parents. They are in different places like Lagos, Abuja, Jos, and safe places now. So at the moment we are having 3,000 plus.
You have about 3,000 children. And, in the report captured by our correspondent, Jessica, you are certainly a proud father, with over 200 of those students who have now completed their secondary education and many more in tertiary institutions. I do not know how that makes you feel. Is it a dream come true?
I tell you, every day, then when they came, it was so difficult to communicate. You see children that can't speak English, and they never had good education. Even before terrorism, they never had good education, so they can't communicate at all. So we just felt, okay, they came here because they wanted a safe place. And then would that just be enough? What do we do for them? How would their future look like? And then we came together, we said, well, you educate a mind, you have developed the person, and the person can take care of himself and take care of the society. So we decided to give them good education, which they never had. And it was so difficult. We had to start with pioneer classes, teaching children that are like 15, 16 how to read ABCD, and then it was hard for them because the life they were living is totally different from the life we are introducing to them. And then we started having visitors, people coming, doctors, lawyers, politicians, Speaker of National House of Assembly. We started having some people who came from abroad. They introduced themselves as pilots, aeronautical engineers, and those visits was like fertilizer. It just gave them another way of thinking. Okay, I can be a doctor, I can be an engineer, I can be, a senator, I can be a lawyer. So they kept asking questions like when the aeronautical engineer came, they said, what does that mean? I told them, they said, wow, so I can build a plane, I can fix airplane. And then I started telling them, if you don't go to school, there's no way you can be like this. And then when the journalists started coming, they see the way they speak good English, they are holding the microphone, asking them questions. So they wanted to become journalists also. They want to do mass communication. So the hunger was so much. And then we said, okay, let's try to give them education. Where do we get the teachers? We started looking for teachers, volunteers came, and all that. Everybody was just contributing. And then the governor of Edo State, His Excellency Governor Shomole, then built a modern secondary school, furnished it, for them and donated it. And to everybody's amazement, we discovered that if you give the same opportunity to every child, everyone have the capacity to become a responsible citizen.
Indeed, and I do hope that when I do come to Edo State sometime that I'll be able to pay a visit to the center. But I mean, from what we have been able to see through our screens, that does look like a lot of work. When you have about 6,000, 7,000 children, I mean, in one place, that is enough for how many schools, enough to establish how many schools. So it was in order that the governor of the state at the time saw the need to establish a secondary school. Were you equipped with teachers? I mean, after building the secondary school, did you have teachers who came on the employment of the state government? How did that work?
No, we didn't have teachers from the state government. We started out in 1992. We had already trained children. Those were vulnerable children we got from the streets and from different places who were already graduates. So they were the ones that were teaching in the school. And then volunteers came, and from university students, from University of Benin, from other universities, during holidays, weekends, they were coming to teach. And, at a point, we had to employ teachers. We had over 20 teachers. And then we had the youth corpus. We applied. We were giving youth corpus. So all this, we had the teaching staff that, made a difference in the life of the children.
That's amazing. The challenges, however, remain. I know that right now that is beginning to yield fruit, I mean, there's a lot of, optimism. But Following your journey, I know that this has not been smooth sailing. I do remember a few interviews which we had conducted at the time when, you know, there was danger. The children were being asked to return. The government provided buses to return the children, and then thankfully much later that decision was rescinded and they could stay, and there was plenty of joy. That was just one of the challenges which we saw. But I know that for you, who has had to see to the day-to-day running of that particular camp, there'll be so many more that you would have encountered. Do you want to share with us some of the most remarkable moments of the challenges that you've had to surmount?
Some are very, very hard to share. It brings out a lot of emotions. But I tell you, the greatest challenge has been to feed the children. Yes, because when you have a child that is determined, he needs food to eat. And then the second is funding their education. These are the two critical areas that now we are still contending with, and we are appealing to everybody to come and help. It has not been so easy to feed them. There are very many, and they are you know, they want to go to school, so they have to eat before they can be able to sit in class to even listen to their teachers. There have been other challenges, like having to deal with trauma. That was another hard thing. All that I learned in school, like trauma therapy, for me was just academic as well as, practical. Like you see a child who watched her parents killed, her mother raped, her father cut to pieces, her brothers all taken away, her sisters married off. Such persons is so hard to take care of. It's still amazing today how we succeeded in doing that. Sometimes then you see a child sitting down and then looking, suddenly he starts running. At that moment, he's not seeing anybody at all. Until he hits a wall or hits a tree and falls before he knows where he or she is. And then in the night, we have to become watchmen, sharing ourselves in the night. We're not sleeping because someone will start dreaming, and then he thinks the thing is real. He jumps from the sleep and start running, calling Boko Haram or terrorists, and the whole camp, the whole center will be, in fact, and they get injured. So what we did then was, okay, love is sacrificial. We have to stand. When they're sleeping, we don't sleep. So we stay in their midst watching. So whenever anybody jump up shouting, we say, we are here, you are safe here, and then everything calm down.
How were you able to, shield them, will I say shield them now, or keep them on the straight and narrow to avoid all of the pitfalls that could be present within adolescence?
I tell you, that was another hard part of it. These are persons who never planned for what's happened to them. So they wanted to leave, and they were just ready to do whatever you teach them to do. We first of all have to create two halves in the center. One side for females and one side for males. So, and we tell them, look, you know why you're here. You just have to be serious with your lives, and you just have to know that it's better you get married at the right time and than, getting pregnant at your young age and you can't cater for your children. In fact, we did a lot of teaching, and though there were quite few, who, no matter what you tell them, these ones were those who, when they were running, they were either raped by fellow males who were running too, or raped by different, there are those of them, some of them who these things have gone deep into them and they don't see any other life outside that. Those types were very difficult to control. And it got to a point, some of them had to, they couldn't go to school, and they had to, get back to the society and all that. But those that are there now are people that are determined to succeed in life. And it's not as difficult now as it used to be, because the things we have taught them have gone into them, and they want to one day stand or sit in the studio like you and grant an interview. So they know that if you joke with your life now, you cannot get to where you are going.
Welcome back. You're watching Hard Copy, coming to you from our studios in Abuja. Mr. Solomon Folorunsho, who is the founder, Home for the Needy Foundation in Ohogwa, Edo State, is our guest tonight. And we're talking about his hopes, fears, and aspirations for the future of that center. Your enthusiasm is infectious, and I know that you try to make sure that it covers the challenges that you're really facing, and that's really brave. But let me ask you, because you did talk about how you were getting some support from the government before now. You know, why do you think that support has dried up?
I wouldn't know, but there are things you can say on television. There are so many things. There's so many things, and so many things you can say on TV. But I can only appeal to whoever is responsible to please have mercy on this. Take them as your. That's all I want to say. Because there are things that are beyond imagination, beyond reason. Yes. So, and I can't understand why you will not give food to a child who is in the university, who is coming back to develop the country, is coming back to help your children. Why would you not want to give food to that child and you're giving food to somebody who is the cause of the problem? So I can't imagine. We have so many reasons being adduced, but they are not things that one can bring on TV. It doesn't look right, and so I don't want to inflame it, but I only can appeal to.
What about the UN agencies? I do know that, you know, quite a number of aid agencies have been involved in you know, making sure that people who have been internally displaced as a result of this conflict have been able to get support. Have you been able to reach any of the agencies, the UN agencies?
We have written letters. We've even written letters, especially to Governor of Borno State, the former governor, the present governor. We've done a lot to get their attention. You know, UNICEF and all. I mean, we watch them on TV, we read about them in the news, on the internet, and we're excited about what they are doing. And then we too, we are in the news, and they see us, they hear about us. We wonder, why are you not interested in these ones that are progressive, these ones that are developing, these ones that everybody can connect to? You can see what is pursuing you from here. It's not about me, even if you don't like my face. But look at these people. You can confirm their schools, you can confirm their admissions, you can confirm everything they are doing. What does it cost you to do? They tie and say, okay, I'm giving you scholarship. Another one and say, I'm giving you this and that. So we've done all this, but we hope they are on the way. I still keep hope alive that they will have a change of mind and a change of heart and see this children as their project.
Do you think that this could come from, you know, how come you got so many children? I do know that in the early days, when we started talking about this center, a lot of people ask questions as to how did you come by so many children?
In fact, I think the country should commend me for creating a center for where people can run to.
I know that a lot of well-meaning individuals have been willing to support you, but you are one person, and there is so much that needs to be done in terms of rehabilitating these children. When you started, you were not affiliated with any religious body, any group that, you know, saw you as their responsibility and figured that, you know, if we continue to have children in this center, this is where we'll be able to raise funds from to be able to support this particular center. Were you?
You know, I have my job that I'm a pastor, you know, and I have churches under my ministry that I lead, you know, that I oversee. And then the children we had, what we do is that we used to raise offering. We had about 500 to 700 children. And at that time, we used to raise offering. And, you know, when people appreciate me for blessing them with the word of God. I was putting that into those children. That was what I was doing. And it was going well, until the IDPs came and went into thousands. It was just beyond us. That was what happened, actually.
Okay. So let me ask now about why you also, have personal people who, well-meaning individuals, would you say that they are tired? And then also the state governments, because you did mention that you did get support from the past governor of the state. Have you been able to also reach out to this current governor?
Well, he knows us very well. His first Christmas, he did it in our center, and he gave us, the children still remember, he gave them the best food they ever ate from a state governor. And he, like right now, he's connecting electricity to our center. Yes, we all these years, we've always been on diesel and petrol generators, but right now he's connecting electricity to our center. But we really appeal to him to do more. Yes. I don't know what is the problem he probably facing, to address the issues in the state, but we really want him to do more. Because from the beginning, he was part of the government, and from the beginning, at the first instance he came, he promised us a lot of things. Yeah, that's what he's just started doing now, and we saw them bringing lights to us. They're still working on it. They're very grateful. So we use opportunity also to tell him he can do more. He's the father of the state. We love him and we appreciate him.
Okay, what about individuals? Would you say that there is now donor fatigue on the part of the people?
Donor fatigue, yes. COVID actually brought a lot of challenges. During the COVID, it was so tough. There are some of our teachers who couldn't cope, and one or two of our teachers, that time of restriction, they were at home. One or two of them died, and so many people, COVID has affected them. Their businesses are not running well, and all that. So that, I think, contributed.
There has been marked improvement, but for many people, relocating to the areas where they came from is still a very big challenge. Can you tell us what you hope that will happen with the children at the center, and whether there can be any reunification with their original families?
Like what I said, those who have connections to their original families, like the Red Cross, they were doing a lot to do family tracing. They found some parents in camps in Cameroon, and some in Niger, some in other camps in Nigeria. And those children that were willing to go, they reunited them. And there were those we did by ourselves. I still remember the former governor also. Then when people, they call us and say, we discovered so-and-so people, do you have such a person in your center? And we prove it to be true, and they come together. What we used to do was to approach the former governor, and he would, I would take them to government house. He would buy things for them. He would give them money. Like I remember, he was always giving them 150,000 naira then, and they would go back to their families. But the ones that we have now, most of them are orphans, and some of them, their families are wiped out. So they don't have anybody they can actually connect back to, except very few. So what they plan to do, or what we plan with them is, okay, if you can acquire a profession, or you learn something you can use to take care of yourself, you don't have to make your choice. If you want to go back to your state, or you want to go back to any state, as far as you can get a job, or you can work, or you can do some, that's when you, just like we do with our children, who grow up to come to a certain age, and we've trained them, we've educated them, and gradually they get to live on their own. This is how we are operating at this time.
What do you see your center evolving to, maybe in the next 5 years, thereabout?
We want to give to Nigeria medical doctors, lawyers, engineers, nurses, midwives. We're giving to Nigeria, essence who Nigerians have been waiting for. Yes, I believe these are the ones they've been waiting. People that will come and change our people that will go to the world beyond this country, people that will go to the world and put things right. Because we've taught them about discipline, we've taught them about anti-corruption, we taught them about sincerity, we taught them about, like in the school, they don't do exam malpractice. Either you know it or you don't know it. And if you don't know it, ask questions. No matter how long it takes you, make sure you know this. And that's why they are so successful. In all the universities, they are head of departments, they are vice chancellors, they are teachers, they are calling me, asking me, how did you train these students? They are just the best. They are coming out first, second, third, all their courses. So this hard work is what we want to give to Nigeria. When they all these complaints we are seeing in the country, government money being stolen, you carry contract, you don't execute it. But those are the things we want to change in Nigeria. And these are the things we want to give back to Nigeria.
Solomon Folorenshaw, founder, Home for the Needy Foundation, Ohogwa, Edo State. Thank you for coming on Hard Copy, and thank you for the work that you do as well. We wish you and the children at the center the very best.
God bless you. Thank you for having me.
That's our program tonight. If you want to be of help, you may reach out to us using the handles showing on your screen. Thank you for watching. I'm Maokwe Ogwin Yusuf. Good night.